Hello guys, welcome to my drilling intervention workover well control channel with all the subjects and questions related to IWCF resource. In this video, I'll take you through the calculation and the principle of pumping slug prior to tripping valve fault and the calculation of the length of dry pipe after you pump slug. Let's dive in. Here is your well schematic. Alright, you have the drill string. And this yellow part here is the slug volume in here. Above it is a little volume of mud. All right, you have the after pit here. All right. So now the first question first: why do you want to pump slug prior to tripping valve hole? The answer is straightforward. You want all the mud to go back to the after pit so that you have a dry, safe, and clean floor for your floorman to work. Simple, right? And this is how you do it in reality. You are pumping from the active pit, all right? And then you have a certain volume, let's say 25 barrels of the slug to be pumped, right? You tell the pump man to get ready. So after he checks and makes ready everything, and he lines up to the slug pit, he'll call you and let you know that you're on the slug pit now. And you keep on pumping. And he keeps watching the slug pit until the volume required is reached. Then he will close that valve and line up to the active pit. Then he'll call you in the doghouse and let you know that now you're on the active pit. So you're on the active pit, you are pumping the normal mud to chase the slug out of the surface line, okay? So therefore, upon receiving that call that you are on the active pit now, the driller needs to reset the stroke counter for the surface line volume. You must always know the surface line volume, okay? So upon reaching the required stroke for the surface line volume, it will stop pump and let the slug do the work. All right, the mud above it and the slug, the bowl will be free falling inside the drill string. All right, and create some dry pipe. In here you have L is the length of the dry pipe inside the string. What about outside? In the annulus, you have full column of mud. All right, in the pump room, the pump man will see a full return 25 barrels plus some pit gain. That pit gain is because the mud now is lighter than the slug, and that causes the slug causes the pit gain. All right, it's not the well control situation here. All right. So, is there any change in borehole pressure? As I said, after the slug reaches the equilibrium point in the string, it leaves some dry pipe, but outside here, full column. All right. So, is there any change in borehole pressure? No change. The borehole pressure still stays the same because the pressure in the string and pressure out of the string in the annulus, they are both at the equilibrium state, right? So this is now the calculation part, right? You have the mud weight in the active pit, 11.0 ppc. You have the drill pipe capacity. This information the driller must always know, right? 0.0176 barrel per foot. The slug weight 12.5 ppc. All right, you pump 25 barrels of slug, all right? You can use these two formulas here to work out. But the principle is simple. You work out the total volume, return, you take the slug volume, 25 barrels, you times the slug weight, 12.5, divided by the mud weight, 11 ppc, you get the total volume return, which is 28.4 barrels. In this total 28.4 barrels, you have 25 barrels of slug, so that you gain 3.4 barrels. And you can just use this formula here. You take the slug volume times slug weight, divided by mud weight, and then deduct 1, all right, times the slug volume, you get the pit gain. This pit gain, actually the volume, caused by the difference of the weight of the slug and the normal mud. You take this pit gain divided by the capacity of the drill pipe, you get the length of the mud drop or the dry pipe inside the string. Very straightforward. And in this same series of tripping pipe dry, in next videos I will address the issues about the borehole pressure reduction when you trip pipe dry out of hole. And what happens when you take all the drill collars BHA out of hole dry? What is the borehole pressure reduction? And what about the tripping wet? All right, and the well control aspect related to tripping in next videos. Hopefully you enjoy the information, which is clear, easy, and straightforward. See you soon. Cheers.